We also spent some time working on the Setworks. Not working on them, trying to understand them. So if somebody knows better, leave us a comment, please, because here's what we've got figured out. And we are not the experts, that's for sure. All right, so watch your fingers. I'm gonna pull this back a little bit. And we got, so how many flappers do we have on there now? No flappers? Do you want to put 2 in it, or? Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were done.
Nope.
Almost. Watch your fingers then. Don't let me hurt you there with that, huh?
Yeah. Probably not necessary. Okay. So there's none in there right now.
Okay, so there's none in there now. So let me just I'm gonna pull it back a little bit more. So, okay, I'm exactly at 16 inches. So when I go like this, full pull should be, it's exactly 15. Okay, so that means I need another 1/4 inch. Okay, because that does not account for our kerf. Roger? You want me to pull it back a little bit to get 2 more in? Or?
Well, hold on, because I can back the screw up, put the screw all the way in. Bolt all the way in.
Is the bolt not all the way in now?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so with 2 in there, if we have it set to 1 inch, we should be pulling 1 1/4 inches each time. Does that make sense? Yep.
Okay, the bolt's all the way in.
Okay, so I show we're exactly at 15 inches now. Okay, we're all the way back. And now,
do another pull.
Yeah. Let me get it at 13. So I'm at 13 right now, okay? And now I am at 11 3/4. So that's including the kerf. So that's with 2.
1/4.
With
0.
That's with 0. And that's what gets to my point. And that's the most throw we get. Let's try it again a couple times. You know what I'm saying? Let me try to 1 or 2 more times. Let me, so I'm at 11 now. So with none in here, now I'm at, it's actually 3/16. It's 9 and whatever it is, 3/16 less than 1 inch.
Okay, try that.
Let me get back here. So I'm at 10 inches now. That's 1/8. So it went 1 1/8 inch.
Okay.
Try it again. So to get it to go, now it's going to be less, correct?
Should be 1 inch.
Right. Let me get this back to where. It's exactly 1 inch. 1 inch exactly. But now that's not including the kerf.
Hold on, one thing at a time.
Yeah.
1 inch.
Yep.
1 inch. With 2 in,
Wait a minute,
it's cutting. This is set from 1 inch.
Yep.
2 in is neutral. 1 inch.
We didn't cut 1 inch though because of the kerf.
No, we're just taking how many we're moving forward.
You're moving forward 1 inch,
1 inch.
correct.
Exactly 1 inch.
But when this is set to 1 inch, we need to move 1 inch plus the kerf.
Okay, let's start with 1 inch.
Okay.
Then we'll
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
just trying to
Yeah.
What do we need to get to neutral?
So you've got
neutral.
and that we're neutral right now. So exactly no kerf.
Right.
So when I pull it now, so let's do this. Let's set that to 2 inches, or 1.5, just
So,
to experiment. Or you want?
If you want the kerf,
Yeah. Put 2 of those.
2 out.
How many do you have in there now?
There was 2 in.
Okay.
Because that was neutral.
So leave it with 2 in
This is
it.
a 1/4 inch. Pull 2 out.
Yep.
That should give you your kerf.
Yes. Okay, so are they in or out now?
They're out.
They're out. Okay, so let's do this again then. Yep. Oops. Oh, way out. Actually, I'm at 8 1/4. So now it's 1 1/8. It could go a little bit more. Let me try it again. Let me try it again, you know, in case I'm off a little bit. So I'm at 7 inches now. Okay, ready? It's 1 1/8, really.
Yeah.
That's all I'm getting out of it. And you have none in there now?
None in there now. So we're cutting. So these are moving. Each of them are moving a 1/16 now.
You know why? Because it's gear driven. So it's gear driven. So it's not a one. It's not 1-to-1.
Right. So the
So-
tabs is
So let's do this. Let's do the. How many do you have in there now?
2.
2.
So back to neutral.
So, okay, so you're back to neutral. So yeah, I'm gonna watch your fingers. Just let me close back a little bit. That's a good. So that's a good point. We thought they were 1/8 inch. They're 1/8 inch spacers, but when it goes, and that makes sense because look at how far back this is going.
Yeah.
You know, it's going huge. You know, that's going way more than 1 inch. All right, so let me just. So right now, we're at 20 inches exactly. Oops, sorry.
Back up.
Oh.
Where are we?
19 and 1/8. I'll put it right at 19. Right there's 19 inches.
Okay, so we're at 20 on this. And counts for your kerf. You got a 1 inch.
All right. So what the conclusion of the brain trust, we use that word lightly, is with 2 of these tabs in here, it moves the knees forward, whatever it shows up on it, exactly that, but it does not include the kerf. If you want to include the kerf, you need to move it down. If we have a right here, which would be a 1/4 inch, and that will include the kerf. Well, I'm good with that, right? Makes sense. So let's we could
That way, if you're cutting
Yeah.
forward on this side of it,
yeah.
you know exactly what you're taking off.
Yeah. What do you think, Gary?
Yeah,
One inch.
let's cut a couple.
Yeah, let's cut a couple. Let me start this thing up.
Just cut them 1 inch.
Cut them 1 inch, yeah.
We'll stack them.
Rip them off, and then we can let it rip. Yeah, and you're set up right now, so you added a 1/4 inch to it. Yeah, yeah. I think I'm making sense to me. Does it make sense?
Sounds good.
It sounds good to me. Yeah, I think we're all talking the same.
Here, you want to cut them?
No, you got it. I'll do the next one.
The,
I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me.
yeah, and that's what I was trying to.
No.
I know I was talking past you,
Yeah. Well, you know what?
but I was trying to say let's cut the neutral. 1 inch is 1.
Yeah.
And
And then add the kerf.
Yeah.
That's fine too. It doesn't matter to me.
So with this set at 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th,
So what we're doing,
Peg.
right now is we've got to mark it 1 inch and 2 inches. Okay, you put that at 1 inch,
Side of it.
1 inch,
but that's a 1 inch pull, what we got right there.
1 inch plus the kerf.
Yeah, we got actually 1 1/4 inch.
So we
But the product is going to be,
1 inch. Yeah. So if you look over here, we got to mark it 1 inch, and we moved it down 2 notches, which is the 1/8 inch per notch. So we moved it down, right? And that
Makes your pull a little
that
bit
makes
longer.
Yeah, and that adds for the kerf.
Yeah.
so if you want a 1 inch board, it goes in the 5th.
It goes in the 5th one.
want
That's
an
correct.
actual-
That's
yes.
correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to make it a little bit lighter, okay, then you'd put one of these tabs in, right?
You would move it to the next hole.
No, I would put the tab in if you want to make it
If you want to make
a
it,
little bit lighter.
yeah,
And if you want to make it heavier, you take,
and it'll be a little over a 1/16 by doing that.
right. These are nice.
One of those tabs.
These are nice boards. They're spot on. I mean, like the ones I got last week, they couldn't be better. I mean, they're beautiful. They're 1 inches, and I'll tell you what, the stuff we got a couple years ago, I was looking at, it's like, man, what a disaster. Not a disaster. It was like it was
No, it's just.
shitty wood. Just before I just want to do some looking here before we go nuts. Not going nuts or anything like that. So right now, what do you see here? What number do you read out here on that ruler? On this ruler? Yeah. What do we see if you're standing there? Because that's our
Well-
size of our cant, right? That's
Depends upon the angle. From this angle, 8 1/4. From this one, about an 8 1/16.
And what did you measure it, Gary?
No.
You're measuring an inch cut, right?
Exactly, spot on, inch.
We're
They were cutting,
inch and a
so we're
quarter.
cutting, yes, yep, and that's fine, yeah, that's cool.
This is 8, right at 8.
And I'm sorry, what'd you say again?
This
It
one
was,
says,
Well, it might be a little over 8 and 8.
yeah. You got to look at it this way, and it's like an 8 and a little over. 8 and a little over.
Now, this is showing exactly 8.
Look at it this way, it's 8 and a quarter.
so the question is,
Not
yeah,
enough.
from where, we know that.
Yeah.
Should we adjust it though, or leave it like it is? It's fine.
Because what,
Well,
what are you going to adjust it to?
8.
Yeah.
From what angle?
So let me take a peek and just,
That's-
from wherever so when the sawyer, I think,
No, I have trouble just seeing the scale with
Yeah.
the small increments on it.
so I see it as 8 and a quarter. I would move it to 8 right now. I would adjust it. Can we adjust? Yeah, we can adjust it.
Yeah, slides forward.
Yeah, let's adjust it. What do we need? We need a tool. Do you have a wrench? You want a socket or you got a wrench?
Now, this is showing,
Measure the back of it,
is
too.
that because of at an angle?
Oh, wait a second, though, because that's close to. No, actually, hold on, Phil, because that might be close to 8 and
See,
a
we got
quarter.
these fuzzy spots.
I know. Yeah, who cut this log?
Here, though.
Who cut this log?
You measured here to here. What would it be? That's 8 and a quarter.
8 and 3/16. Eight and 3/16.
Measure the end here. Yeah, it's about 8 and 3/16. It's spot on.
Yeah, I would leave it then. I think
Yeah,
we're,
I mean,
we're
that's-
perfect. So now the question is, what do we want to cut with this? Do we want to make 2x4, or do you want to make 6-inch wide boards, 8-inch wide? I don't care. That's nice cants, beautiful cant, or 1-inch thick ones. So we've got this mark here at 1 inch, and if I put this at 1 inch here, okay, that means every time I pull this lever back, it moves exactly 1 inch. And the little flappers on the back, we got 2 in there. They're 1/8 of an inch, but they do not, when you take one of them out, it does not move it 1/8 of an inch because it's gear driven. Our kerf on a blade is about 1/4 of an inch. So with a 1/4 of an inch kerf, if you want to compensate for that, you need to go up 1/8, 1/4. So 1 notch up. So right there, we'll cut 1-inch boards all day long. We did a couple test runs on that one log, and it was gorgeous. We cut logs, and we sawed. Gary sawed a log, and we made some nice 1x8s or something like that. They were just beautiful pieces of wood. So we know now that this is right. So if I want a 1.5 inch piece of wood cut, if I want to saw 1.5 inches with a Setworks, you put this to 1.5 inches. Then you need to move it, the kerf forward. Now, every time I pull it, it'll move 1.5 inch plus the kerf of the blade. And that seems to be very repeatable. So if anybody's got any questions, talk to me, and Phil, and Gary. Now, we got the flappers in the backer, and those little flaps will adjust it, but they do not adjust it. They're 1/8 of an inch thick. They do not adjust it 1/8 of an inch at a time. It's probably a 1/16 of an inch, or whatever the gear is here. There's a little ruler here, and this ruler is how much of the log is left on the knees and the head blocks. So it measures the size of the cant. And the other thing we did, my wife Paula, is we put a ruler here, and it actually is relatively accurate. So that's how big the board is. So we want a 6-inch board coming off of this thing, or a 5.5 inch board, pull it out till it lines up with that, do a double check, and frankly, it's pretty accurate, especially for the wood we're cutting. I'd say most importantly though, what we're cutting now is accurate. It's not cockeyed, it's square on all sides, it's nice and straight. So we're happy campers. Thanks to Phil, thanks to Alan, thanks to Gary, thanks to Pete, Tom, everybody for helping get this done. So let's get back to sawing some lumber.